Welcome to what's supposed to be a temporary solution. 3 months, we said. Fast forward almost 3 years, and this is where we ended up. It's overstuffed, completely disorganized, and finding anything in there feels like searching for a needle in a haystack. But today, we're finally putting an end to this madness. And then there's this. An old wooden closet I picked up second-hand years ago for $50. It's been through a lot, and while it's held together pretty well, let's just say it hasn't exactly been the most convenient piece of furniture. But instead of letting it collect dust, I'm giving it a new purpose. This closet is about to become our material source for the transformation. Step 1. Disassemble. Let's break this down and see what we've got to work with. Before jumping in, I sat down to sketch out a rough plan for the new closet room using Fusion 360. Nothing too fancy, just enough to visualize the main elements I wanted to include. The plan featured a clothing bar for hanging all the essentials, a shelf that holds 7 of these metal net boxes from IKEA, and of course a dedicated shoe shelf. I designed the top shelves specifically to fit 2 IKEA plastic boxes. Because, seriously, who doesn't love a little modular storage? Now, I'll be honest, while I started with this plan, I didn't follow it to the letter. Some things just made more sense to tweak as I went along. Flexibility is key, right? By using components in the design, the list came together for free. And honestly, it's a lifesaver for staying organized during the build. Next up, I'm turning these old sideboards into the pieces I need for my custom shelf. With the dimensions already mapped out in my parts table, it's just a matter of cutting them down to size. With all parts cut to size, the next step is sanding. I focused on smoothing the sides and, more importantly, rounding off those sharp edges. No one wants a shelf that doubles as a finger slicer. And now, my favorite part of this project, assembling the shelf. For this, I decided to try something new, pocket holes. It was my first time using them, and well, let's just say I didn't exactly have the ideal setup. I didn't have a proper drill bit or screws, and all I had was this very budget-friendly pocket hole adapter. But I managed to make it work somehow. The key was building a quick jig to speed up the process. It wasn't perfect, but it got the job done. Now, since I didn't have a proper pocket hole drill bit, I had to get creative. To prevent the wood from splitting, I decided to drill through the edges first. This is the moment you should probably pause the video and, well, tell me how wrong I'm doing this. Go ahead, I'll wait. But hey, sometimes you just have to build with what you've got, right? And for me, this hack worked out just fine. Before assembling the shelf, I need to make holes for the mesh box guides. To save time and keep everything aligned, I clamped both sides panels together so I could work on them simultaneously. Once everything was locked in place, I carefully measured and marked the exact spots for the guide holes. To keep the drilling straight and precise, I used 90-degree drill conductor. And just like that, the holes for the mesh box guides were ready to go. Next up, it's time to bring everything together. Assembling the shelf is where all the prep work pays off, but I still needed to make sure everything stayed in place during the process. To keep the pocket holes joints aligned while drilling, I clamped a small wooden cube to the edges. It worked pretty well, holding the part steady and making the whole process much easier. With the shelf fully assembled, it's time for the final step, attaching the guides for the mesh boxes. Before moving it to its final spot, I decided to run a quick test right here in the shop. Better to catch any issues now than deal with them later. Before putting the new shelf in place, we decided to give the closet a little upgrade. Painting is such a simple step, but it makes a world of difference. We chose a warmer color to make the space feel cozier and more inviting. Once the painting is done, it was time to bring all the pieces together. For the clothes bar, I went with a simple solution. A curtain rod. It's not the strongest option out there, but for now it does the job. I won't bore you with the entire installation process. Let's skip ahead to the good part. As I mentioned before, this isn't exactly how I planned the space originally, but the main elements stayed untouched. I had to make a few adjustments along the way. To keep all the smaller things organized, I added a pegboard with different hooks and holders. Instead of the vertical shoe shelf, I added these hangers for kids' clothes. And that's really it. If you enjoyed this project, consider subscribing for more DIY ideas and inspiration.